morning. This is Jamal Hasan from the Voice Studio in Washington, D.C., USA. Welcome to Jamal Hasan Show. The voice is your voice. Today, we are going to introduce Mr. Zia Karim. He is an electrical engineer by profession. He is also an environmental specialist and a political analyst as well. So I would ask some questions to Zia Karim, and I hope he will answer accordingly. First, introduce yourself, Mr. Karim.
Uh, uh, my name is Zia Karim. I grew up in Bangladesh and mostly in Dhaka. Then I went for engineering in Khulna. Then I came to US back over 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago. I studied in electrical engineering, did my master's in electrical engineering and computer engineering, both. I started with my career with semiconductor and laser and semiconductor industry for 2 years, and then I had fascination about electricity and power. So where I went to Illinois Power, I started my career there. Then worked Dynergy, one of the Fortune 500 sixth company. Then worked for Constellation Energy and Exelon, which is one of the top power company in the U.S. Beside that, I in where I'm as an electrical engineer, I have to make sure because it's a coal plant, you have to involve with the environmental side of it, the environmental impact, everything, because of all the things is connected together. So that's my background in a nutshell. But I am involved with a different engineering organization. I did a presentation back in 2004, 2005 in ABIA, the American Bangladeshi Engineers Association, about power shortages in Bangladesh and what need to be done and what should be done. Things have changed a little bit, but I think we need to work, you know, to overcome some of the difficulty we had before. Hopefully, the previous government had done tremendous work in the power sector, because that's any country that wanted to be industrialized, they work on those side of it.
Question is now very relevant to your discourse. What was the situation of the power sector in the post-liberation Bangladesh, like in the early 70s? Can you highlight on that?
Early 70s, there's very few power plant. You remember Kaptai, the Kaptai power station, then Shiddirganj and Khulna, they had some hydro. There are few, not a lot. And then mid 80s, they built Gorashal power station. But in until 2007 and 8, the total production of Bangladesh power production was 3,200 megawatt, which is nothing. When I started Illinois Power, the power station I was working, one plant was generating 2,200 megawatt, whereas my father-in-law, he was an engineer, civil engineer, graduated from Arsenal Engineering College back then, which is Buet now. So I give him a tour, and he said, "What? But this is a plant?" I said, "Yeah, this is." He said, "It's huge. Whole Bangladesh produce that much power." That I'm talking about before 2000. So you can think about that. Here's an engineer. He said, "I have not seen this kind of massive power plant." And he said the whole Bangladesh that time was producing probably 20 to 2,500 megawatt. Then it went to 3,200 before Bangabandhu's daughter, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, took the power. Because I had a conversation with his advisor, H.T. Imam. I said, this is what you need to do short term, long term, and to build the power plant, because if you cannot build the power plant, if you don't have any power plant, you cannot build the industry. So the first thing you do, even any country, any nation in the world, what they do, they focus on their communication. That's been road, bridges, culvert, all these things. And next, and simultaneously they build power plant, because without power you cannot build any industry. Zero. So you had to have a, you know um, the shortage we had, and the amount of power she put on, she built a huge power plant with the grid. That is tremendous progress for Bangladesh. 3200 megawatt to 28,000 megawatt, plus Rupur, Rupur, then Matarbari, then other couple of stations that was on the way to put, to almost done finishing up. So it's still not in the grid, because the current government, the Inus Gong, the AIA visited Bangladesh Rupur Paramedic Bindut Kendra. Then they give a report that's what need to be done in the to start that plant, because AIA, who that the organization monitor Atomic Energy Commission, monitor everything. So they said, okay, this is the safety concern we have, and you have to fix that. So the Bangladesh, PDB, or sorry, Atomic Energy Commission ordered those equipment to buy it from Russia, and it came to Dhaka airport. And you have seen there was a fire, and they burn all the shipment. It's probably a couple of $1 billion lost. This
Question
Inutan
is now,
song,
uh,
and they now fall behind to start that. That was a pride for Bangladesh and Sheikh Hasina.
you're talking about the recent
Yeah.
accident, quote unquote, at Dhaka airport. Now,
It was not. It is not accident. It's a sabotization done by Yunus and his gang.
that's why I said quote unquote. Anyway, there were we are familiar with the term load shedding, and I remember when I was in Bangladesh in 80s, or 90s. Whenever I went back to Bangladesh, even in early 90s, load shedding was a common thing, a common occurrence. So my question is, why there was load shedding? What causes load shedding? Number one. Number two, uh, I realized, or I identified during the Sheikh Hasina administration, the occurrence of load shedding almost zero. So could you exactly explain what magic wand Sheikh Hasina administration had that the load shedding was history during her term?
Okay, so you have to remember there is a demand and supply. Sheikh Hasina, Bangabandhu's daughter, realized that to take this nation step ahead, you need power. So she had the vision and a mission. Say, okay, we're gonna do it. That's what when I was talking to HT Imam and also Tawfiq Elahi, he was the advisor for one of the advisor. So I said, okay, you can do short term and long term goal. Short term means that you have to put a diesel generator that can be done with couple of months, run portable one, and then you start building the power plant. To build a power plant, it needs 5-6 years, because you have to go through the permits and all these things, and also privatization. So she focused on all those things. And because Dhaka city is one of the mega city, and they need massive power, right? If you look at it, if you remember when he was growing up, you did not see 17, 18, 20, 50-story building in Dhaka city. Very rare, right? Now you go Dhaka city, because the demand and the population uh, went up. Now Bangladesh has 180 million people, so the demand is high. So she went from long term, short term goal to a long-term achievement. So she said, okay, I'm going to do rental, and then same time I'm going to start building the power plant. To do that, that's why, as I said, when she took the power, Bangabandhu's daughter, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, took the power. It was only 3,200 megawatt, and that power lasts 15 years from 3,200 megawatt to 28,000 megawatt. So that's why it did not see any load shedding. Because if the demand is high, and if you don't have anything in grid, what are you going to do? You have to shut the power down somewhere. So
So
the
you see,
public suffer.
and
Here in the US or anywhere in the country, the government always has 30% reserve. Say you have four power plant, and you need that four power plant generate, say, I'm hypothetical, say 100 megawatt. Your demand is 70 megawatt. Say one of the unit trip. So what are you going to do? It says normally you are running three of them. One of the trip, you're going to put other one, the reserve on the grid. So that's why you don't do the load shedding.
Sheikh Hasina
Also,
administration also faced a tremendous opposition from environmental kingpins or zealots like Anu Muhammad when she started the Rampal, the coal plant. And I understand with the 1320 megawatt probably it generates. Now, you are also environmental specialist. Do you think that Rampal had any adverse effect in the ecology, especially in the Sundarban area? The
okay. So I'm
coal
going
plant.
to, before I answer that, I want to add in one more thing. In 2001 to 2006, BNP and Jamaat was in power. You can see there is a video, always Tariq Rahman is saying that you are asking power in the evening hour, you are asking power in the store, in the mall, and also same time you're asking power in your house. Nobody, quote, nobody can give it that. But Bangabandhu's daughter had the vision and mission. She proven that Tariq Rahman is wrong, and she gave power to everybody, including the village. So there's that difference. You remember, so now come to your questions around environmental. So if you look at the coal plant back in 60s or 70s in the US, there was not much regulation. So when the old plant they converted to new, they converted it, they come with more efficient turbine. In where that the coal we burn, there is two kind of ash. One is the bottom ash, where you burn inside the boilers. It goes in bottom of the, which is the solid. And then the others go with the flue gases. They call fly ash. And this fly ash is collected, they call in the precipitators or bag house. I worked, as I said, I worked 20 years in this side of it. Electrical side and also environmental side, especially precipitators bag house, where the ash has been collected. If you live in Maryland, if you go Curtis Bay area, there are a couple of plants that I work on in my previous job. You won't be able to see anything coming out from the stack, because if they do, they will complain. So when they upgraded all this power plant, they made sure that environmental impact is
Sorry
less.
to
The
interrupt.
precipitate,
Are you talking about coal-based power plants in
yes,
Maryland?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I got you.
So that is and right on Curtis Bay. So
Yeah.
they made sure that that electrostatic precipitator is in right size or backhouse in the right size. That collection is more efficient, and also they went for scrubbers, or the others. And also the other thing they change it, they start burning low sulfur fuel, which comes from Indonesia or somewhere else. So the technology has changed. Therefore, SCR, electrical engineering term, is normally they call silicon control rectifier, but here is not that. It's called selective catalytic reduction. So where the you you reduce your NOx and SOx, they call. So there, if you look at the plant in 1960 or 70s, that in the air pollution is reduced 95%. So the technology is there now. The problem in Bangladesh, those you mentioned, Muhammad, he's an economist. He's not an engineer. I ask you to bring him in a debate with me and see if he can prove me wrong, then I'll accept it. Uh, there are technology that can reduce the NOx and SOx and also air pollution. They can control it. The technology is there. It depends. And now he might say, oh, Bangladesh government is not. That's the part government has to look at it. They need their expertise that who is running this show.
No,
Also,
Mr. Karim,
yeah.
the point is that I don't know exactly what was the possible environmental impact in
Okay.
Curtis Bay, Maryland. But I'm talking about if you talk about mangrove forest in
Yeah.
Sundarbans.
That's I'm coming. So
Yeah, Sundarbans.
when you are in Maryland, the reason I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
that
yeah.
when you are in Maryland, do
Hmm.
you feel anything like that? There are a lot of tree, everything. In Bangladesh, when you build the power plant there, Pyra, they are saying that it's going to destroy the forest. How? They have to have an evidence, right? So if the government put right precipitator, right baghouse, right covers, there is no way it could affect anything. Okay, think about this way. I'm going to put this way different. Say you had a fire in a coal plant. What will happen? It will burn down. Think about if you have a fire in a nuclear plant, you have to move people around 300-mile radius. Everybody. You remember Chernobyl, right?
Correct. Right.
So that's what it is. Now the question comes, you had a very good question. That's okay. Who is involved in putting this plan together? You have to have a right person who can see that, okay, that's we put correct baghouse or electrostatic precipitators. Are we buying right coal? Are we putting uh, same SCR, right size? Those things had to be monitored. If you don't do right, then yes, there is an impact, but not as the way they are saying. Okay, I say one of the things I say a lot of people that, okay, nothing is clean. Think about that. Back in 90s, right? You buy a computer, I said, okay, it's broke. What do you used to do? You put in outside next to the curbside. They take it, they put in the trash. Can you do that now? No. What do you have to do? Recycle, right? Why? Because there is a lot of stuff that has an impact to the environment, right? Now, what Anu Muhammad is saying, solar or anything, nothing is clean. So you have to build the solar plant, right? So you're gonna pollute the environment. Now, when you build the solar panel, you have to build an industry to build it. So you have to pollute the environment. Maybe less, but more. Now, they have any data that when the solar panel is taken out, what how are you going to dispose it? What kind of chemical reaction is going to happen to the environment? Where will be disposing it? Do they have any data? Yes, you can. Yes, maybe solar panel solar has less impact, but there are some impact. Same way that coal has some impact, but there is a clean coal technology there. You can do that. And same time, I suggested to Bangladesh government that time, say, okay, you can build every house in the village, if you invest some money, a powerhouse. How? That I'm not going to discuss, but that's my I expertise. I can make that happen. If somebody, that every house in the village will be a powerhouse, if they listen to me. So Anu Muhammad, and same time, Anu Muhammad has to give. So okay, if I want to build industry, where I'm going to get the power? Does the solar is a consistent? No, because if you have a sun, you have power. If you don't have any sun, say during the day, if you look at the solar during the day, it generates power because if sun hits, it have a radiation, then you build electricity. If you don't have any sun, that means no power. In the night time, there is no solar power. So what do? Then you go to windmill, but windmill again you are depending on wind. But industry need consistent power. Without consistent power, either you cannot build industry, or you cannot provide consistent electricity to the public. That means what you mentioned before, that means you're going to have load shedding.
You see, in America also, this coal plant was once a political hot potato. Democrats once upon a time were very much against coal plants. And you know, our neighboring state, or closer state, you can say, West Virginia, and the Democrat legislator were not very popular among other Democrats because they were in support of coal plants. President Trump was supporting coal power generation. And that's how the West Virginia Democrats sided with President Trump in many cases. But now it's not an issue at all. Nowadays, nobody talks about problems of the coal plants. Did you see that current happenings in America? Did you notice it regarding
No,
coal
I
plants?
noticed it because West Virginia was a Democratic state. It turned when, if you remember, there was two senator from West Virginia was a Democrat. The governor was a Democrat. The governor, when President Trump become during his primary first time, 16, the Democrats switched over to Republican. He became a Republican because there are a lot of natural resources. You have to use a natural resources. As I said, there are clean coal technology, and you have to use those technology. You need power. You see, they're building massive data center. You need power. Think about your home. Back in 90s, there was one phone, right? Now, how many phone you have? How many TV you have? How many computer you have? How much power consumption? Your power consumption went up, up, up. You look at Dhaka city. In Dhaka city, so there are every house you're gonna go, there are 3-4 air condition which you don't need it. If they listen to me, I can give the solution. I've been talking for years that how to solve this problem, because that one, temperature is rising up because it's dissipate a lot of heat in window air condition. Not there are 3, 4, 5 in each house, in each apartment, which is wrong. They need to change their design. They need to change their code. And what your question was, Trump, and in US, there are 50% coal plant. They're building nuclear plant, or they're commissioning nuclear or hydro. They're trying to do that, but you need power. You have to have a source of power. Otherwise, people cannot, your technology is not going to go. Say AI, you then need power, right? Anything you're going to do, you need is connected to the power. Industrialization, everything is connected to the power. So if you don't have any power, that country will not progress. And that was the vision of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, that she had the vision. So I'm going to build the power plant so I can industrialize the country, nation. And what she did. And Trump has a vision. So, okay, we have natural resources. We have to utilize our natural resources. If you look at it, the gas, right? We have gas price is not that up because we're taking the natural gas, right, from Pennsylvania to different places. If you don't utilize it, you have to buy it from somewhere else. If you buy it from somewhere else, you pay the money plus you're carrying costs. All these things, price goes up, and that costs the consumers.
Mr. Karim, going back to different subject,
Okay.
safety of nuclear-based power plants. You may remember there's a big catastrophe happened in the 3 Mile Island nuclear generating plant, which is in Pennsylvania in 1979. And probably there was a partial meltdown in Unit 2 of the 3 Mile Island power generator. And the movie called China Syndrome was based on that accident. Not only the 3 Mile Island accident, we had seen Chernobyl in the former Soviet Union, Chernobyl, and also more recently Fukushima in Japan, the tsunami attack. Tsunami basically made a catastrophic situation in the power plant in Japan. So considering all these factors, if there is disaster, any disaster happens in a nuclear plant, it could be more deadly. It could be deadlier than a coal-based or hydroelectrical power plant. So what do you want to say? Of course, you have said that there may be more power plants, nuclear power plants in USA, and I am aware that Germany is going to build more nuclear power plants. But nonetheless, nuclear power plants have a big risk factor. How would you address it?
Okay, so that's why I said before, you remember or not, that okay, if it's a coal plant, you build a coal plant, if there's a fire, that burn off, right? It does not affect the people surrounding people. But if anything happened in a nuclear plant, you have to move people surround 300-mile radius. You mentioned Germany. What Germany did after Japanese accident in power plant, they had a tsunami. After the tsunami, they went from nuclear to coal-based power plant. You know that? What they did?
Yes, right. Yes.
Because it has less effect on human. And also, as I mentioned, that is a clean coal technology. You can build the power plants in such a way you have a less impact. It's not back in, technology is not back in 70s or 60s. That time they did not care about that much. Now all the environment, they care about that. So data is there. So it is going to have less impact. But any nuclear plant trip, say they had in Bangladesh, the Rupur, right? If it trip, they won't be start the unit right way. If a coal plant trip, they can start right way. Any nuclear plant trip here in the US or Europe, they have, in US, they have Nuclear Regulatory Commission, or other country, they have similar organization. They will come do the investigation. It might take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to start back a unit when a one unit trip. So a nuclear plant normally they call backup to the backup to the backup, because if something happened, one small thing, they have a backup to that one will start. If not something happened, the other one will start. So the technology has changed, they monitor. But again, it depends on the country or nation how they want to implement or they want to monitor. Nuclear plant is safe if the safety are safe. As I mentioned, that when International Atomic Energy Commission investigated that, okay, they had a safety concern. That's why they told Atomic Energy Commission Bangladesh that they have to do this. If they don't, they cannot start that.
Can you speak about any remedy done after 1979 accident at 3 Mile Island, Pennsylvania? And in the USA, what was the remedy? I mean, what was the outcome after the accident? Obviously, it was a meltdown in a reactor, apparently, it looks like. It was a meltdown.
Yeah, anything happen, Nuclear Regulatory Commission will do, and they do the investigation. That's why I said they put every safety check. Say, okay, this if this one fail, the other one will pick up, so nothing fell. And they
So it
gave
is in a
every power
sense,
plant for
in a sense, it's more modified. Whatever
modified.
right now.
Also, monitoring is more. They have improved the system monitoring. Also, the technology has changed, and they are monitoring every piece of equipment more closely than ever, so nothing happened, no
Mr.
impact.
Karim, in
Yeah.
Bangladesh, do you have any nuclear regulatory commission?
No, they have Bangladesh Atomic Energy Commission, work who will be owner of that. They will monitor it. They're supposed to.
I see. Okay.
But you can put, as I said, you can say in US or Europe, all the power plant owned by the private entity, government monitor, the government employees. Okay, you are supplying the power, but if you cannot do load shedding, Bangladesh, because say in Maryland, if a BGE say, okay, I'm gonna turn the power off there or here without any reason, without any natural disaster. Say if you have huge wind or something that you might have some tree fall off, the power will goes out. That's different. Natural disaster. But in Bangladesh, you have, as I mentioned before, there was a load shedding, right? Without any reason, any causes. Here you cannot do that. If you do that, then government fine you. That's why you have to have a reserve.
Question now.
So
Is there
that's
any
why
future?
the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was what he did. He said, okay, I'm getting now. My suggestion was a little bit different. It's okay, if all this quick start can be kept as a reserve. Say Rupur trip, so 2400 megawatt. Where are you going to get that 2500 megawatt from if you don't have any reserve? A lot of people don't understand that. Okay, and also when you turn an air conditioner on, that give a spike. Do you call BG, say, hey, I'm going to start? Nobody. In Dhaka, as I said, any apartment building you go to, they are mostly 17, 18, 2000 square feet apartment, right? Those 2000 square feet apartment, you go there, and I looked at it closely. Each room has his own air conditioner. Those are 1.5 ton, 2 ton. That means if 3-bedroom houses, there could be 4 air conditioner, including the family room, 800, 8 ton, yeah, 8 ton air conditioner, which was way too much. And what happened when it run? That's mean 4 of them running, and it dissipate the heat. The outside temperature goes higher. Inside temperature is cooler. And if you got out from, you're running one room, you go to the another room, you'll probably the temperature variation see, and the sweat. So here the government give the power, let the private sector run the power company, and they do regulation. Here, if back in 2002 or something, there's a east side, there was a blackout. Remember that probably.
I also have a question, very much relevant.
No,
Why Indian tycoon Adani's power had to be borrowed to Bangladesh? I mean, Bangladesh had to borrow Adani power.
okay,
Was it because of
because
scarcity?
of shortage. Because of
Shortage.
shortage, the government requested that if they want to build a power plant, they go into power purchase agreement, and they said, okay, we'll buy your power. Any third world country, what they do, say, do you want to invest money? If you cannot get your money back, you're not going to invest it. So what they want to ensure from the government, say, okay, you're going to buy the power.
How it was done? Is it money power generated in India was supplied to Bangladesh?
Because
Or
the grid is tight. You're generating in a power plant, then it goes to, they call step up transformer, then it go to the grid. Grid is connected to our grid.
So it is based in India.
Yeah,
Okay,
which
I got it.
close to our border area where they build the power plant.
Okay. Now, any future of hydroelectric power in Bangladesh?
There are some, but if we build hydro, it's not going to be that massive. It's a 2400 megawatt Rupur. You cannot build hydro that bigger. There are some
Why?
hydro,
Why?
Goalpada hydro, then Kaptai. There are some hydro, but again, when you remember when you build Kaptai, they build Kaptai hydro. It causes other problem too. Think about that hydro. You are running the hydro, and you're gonna kill the fish, right? And also, when you burn coal, the now they use they call bottom ash, which in the inside the boiler it goes to the bottom ash, and the fly ash both are being used. There is no waste. Yes, there is environmental impact, but not as they are saying. You need power, so either you have to in the dark old days, no power, right? No industry, no work. So how are you going to survive in this 21st century if you don't have any power?
Mr. Karim, the environmentalists all over the world were talking about global warming, and they blame China and India because of the coal-based power plants and coal-based industries, for example, in China. So they're saying they're polluting the air and ozone layers thinning and all these. So they are blaming coal to some extent. Any comment on that?
Okay. I went to NASA years ago. I talked to a scientist. We're on the same page, and I said, okay, why don't give me data? There are one group of scientists who said this, if there is too much snow, they said, okay, this is going ice age again. And one group said no, but they are the one in 1970s, before 70s, they said, okay, this is the whole earth gonna be under snow. And then they changed their story. They said, okay, it's melting too much, it's gonna be because of the global warming. I don't agree that there is a there is impact, but not the way they are saying it. You remember Lake Erie, right?
Yes.
Lake Erie, right?
Yeah.
Lake Erie was so bad, people thought it's gone. That it's now you go there, Lake Erie is clean. Who cleaned it? Nature cleaned itself. It's balanced itself.
Now,
So there are some impact, as I said, that technology is there. Like you know, you can use those technology to clean coal technology to produce electricity. So
so you
do you
so
want
you
to
are
live
saying basically.
without any industry, without any job, without any food? Then go to old days.
No, so my question would be in this very much relevant that carbon emission
Yeah.
has nothing to do with global warming.
Not as much they are saying. I don't believe that.
Okay.
As I said, if you look at it, nothing is clean. Okay, those who drive electric vehicle, right? Those who drive electric vehicle, they have to charge the electric vehicle, right? Yes. Where the power will come from? Oh, I am driving electric vehicle, I need power. But they're asking for power. How will get the power? Where? Either you go to nuclear, either you don't have any much hydro, either you go solar is not consistent. Solar during the day, if when you had a lot of snow pile, do you had any solar power? No. So no solar, no there is no wind, then no wind power. So what can give you consistent? Either coal, nuclear, or hydro. So either you build your industry, you take, you have to minimize it. So how much? Okay, I'm going to take some hit, not I'm going to put clean coal technology, or I'm going to put all safety, security, everything in nuclear plant, so it can make it more secure. That way, I can have both. I can have power and same time I can build my industry. Or technology can move forward with it. If you don't have it, there is no technology. How are you going to do the internet if you don't have any power? And you are sitting in the air conditioner heating. Some of the houses, they have gas furnace. Some of the houses, they don't have any gas furnace. So what they do, they run the heating side of the air conditioner heating and cooling both gives the air conditioner, right? Heat pump. So they have a heat pump. That means it's run with the electricity. So how are you gonna get it warm in your house if you don't have any power?
Yes.
So you have to. Okay, I want to move forward. How am I going to move forward? Sitting in one place, or I have to explore everything? I have to I can minimize the impact
So,
and make. You cannot make everybody happy.
yeah, so you are
And
basically, what I see, that you are basically you are showing your flexibility in regard to the power generation matters. But President Trump, our president, American President Trump, has voiced his resentment against what I call it, wind power, for example, and he said wind power killed bird and all this.
Yeah.
Are you so much of are you thinking in the same line that
No. Environmentalists now complaining they are killing bird.
Okay.
That's true. So anything you do, there is some impact. And now how we can give consistent electricity, that's the question. Does the people of Bangladesh or Dhaka city or any other city or the people, the build industry, they said, okay, I don't need power. If you can get something from them, then government say, okay, I'm not going to build any power, no environmental impact, nothing. How can you give the job if you don't have any industry?
power,
the key factor is to build an industry, you have to have power.
Again, we cannot ignore the exactly the role of fossil fuel. For example, you are talking about your extra generator, which is stationed outside your residence. The generator normally runs with the fossil fuel, isn't it? Fossil fuel.
No. So I'm talking about the coal plant. Coal plant, they buy the coal, they burn the coal, generate the heat, and they put the water, then run the steam turbine.
No, I'm talking about the role of fossil fuel, like petroleum. Like
the gas, natural gas. Natural gas is cheaper, but you have to have a lot of natural gas to do it. Does Bangladesh has a lot of natural? They are short of gases. They cannot supply the gas to the public for cooking. How we can generate power?
I see. Okay. Now, important question. During the time, like when last administration of Bangladesh, Awami League, led by Sheikh Hasina, during the time 2008 to 2024, what is the achievement in power sector you would like to outline?
Huge, tremendous. It's beyond somebody's people of imagination. Tariq Rahman, as I said before, Tariq Rahman said in 2004 or 5, he said, you are asking power during the evening hour, you're asking power in the mall and also in the home. It's impossible. Nobody will ever be able to give that. And that's why New York Times says Khamba Tariq. Remember? You remember the article? New York Times?
Electrical pole, I think.
Yeah. They call Khamba Tariq. That's why they mention the Khamba Tariq.
I see.
You need to read that article in New York Times. They said Khamba Tariq. They put the pole, that's why they call Khamba Tariq. So one is the generation, another one is the distribution. The picture is showing the distribution side of it. You build the plant and distribute the power. to different area. Bangladesh is small. US is a huge. US, except Texas, all the grid are connected together. You know that? So Bangladesh is a small country. It's all one grid. It's fine. And what she did, she built power plants, so she built industry. So that's why, as he mentioned before, that's why you did not see load shedding in Dhaka city, because that was her huge achievement. Say metro rail, right? How the metro rail run on electricity, right?
Yeah.
So why will you get the power if you don't have any electricity? Say I'm going to build solar. How are you going to solar if you don't have a sun? How are you going to run it? You have to give me a solution. I'm government, and I have to be consistent power to the public. How I'm going to do that without coal or nuclear or hydro? Can I depend only solar? No, impossible. Wind? No, impossible. Yes, every house in the village area, they can redesign the roof in such a way that it maximizes the sun heat, and every house in the village can be a powerhouse, so you don't have to run electricity to every house. It can be. The government has to invest. They said government can go and said, okay, I'm gonna redesign your roof in such a way that and put solar panel, give them the battery, so during the day the battery gets charged, or whatever they needed power during the day they can get that. Bangladesh has a lot of sunlight, so they can consume the battery can hold the power, so they can utilize in the night time. So every house can be a powerhouse. Every house can be a powerhouse in Bangladesh if the government want it.
You are talking about using the solar panel also.
Yes.
Utilizing.
Yeah, because that's why you have to run less, the distribution line. It can be, there are, in Alaska or somewhere, you have seen probably, there are a lot of area, they are independent, completely independent. They are dependent on only solar or wind.
You're talking about those isolated regions.
Yeah, they do that.
Mm-hmm.
So why not in Bangladesh government do those kind of things, and they don't have to run distribution line. There are a lot of options there, because in Bangladesh, majority of in the 2 months on the winter, but still there are sun,
Yes, we have enough sun.
And if you don't, you remember Dhaka city in old days, the rickshaw, they never use the battery, right?
Yeah.
Now you go to Dhaka city, they use the battery, right? Battery operated.
Nowadays, yes, right. Yeah.
So instead of a person pulling the rickshaw, it's very hard. When they use the battery, it's less work, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So you are giving some comfort to the people. You remember, I don't know, you went to the village area back in even 80s, 90s, there was no power. 2000, no power. But now every village you go, there is they have power, they have air conditioner, they have refrigerator, they have everything. That's a comfort. So how you can do that? You can give comfort if it takes some, it's a you minimize everything. You cannot, okay, how many garments industry or textile industry or leather industry Bangladesh built, or any industry there, Bangladesh can go toward the semiconductor or something. How are they going to do that without power? There are a lot of losses. I know that there are some the area. I'm not going to discuss this because there's not a lot of people who understand this kind of conversation. So there are a lot of area that can improve the wastage of power, especially all the apartment. If I have the capacity, I will change that. I will change the code so there will be no window air condition in Dhaka or anywhere in Bangladesh. The first thing I will do to cut the waste out.
You think there's a big wastage going on?
Yes. And also I will change the policy of how the private sector run power plant. There is a lot of things need to be done. There are some I don't agree with. Okay, as I said, in Europe, in Japan or some of the part, industrialized country, the federal government don't own power plant. It's the private sector. And federal government, what they do, they put the regulation, they implement the law that how to do it. They tell them what to do. If they don't follow, they fine. But there's somebody need to look at this, have a vision, and improve this. There are a lot of ways you can cut this waste. You can minimize this waste. A lot of people say, okay, and go to your friend's house in Dhaka city. They will say, okay, they will run probably massive, say 3,000 square feet house. They are probably running 3,000 square feet house or apartment. They are running probably 8 tons of air condition. Who says waste? Think about it. When they build the houses here, what they seal it, they insulated it, or they sealed it, so there is no air and leakage.
Right. Yeah. Now, question
The
is,
people of Bangladesh, there is one of the group of the people, they said, oh, I cannot afford it. It's not affordability, it's the responsibility.
I got it.
If you are not responsible, you should not get anything.
Now, 2 questions.
Yes.
What is the status of Rupur nuclear plant now?
Okay, Rupur plant, because as I mentioned before in my that Rupur AIA, that International Atomic Energy Commission, which monitored everything, they came, visited Bangladesh. They said there are safety concerns. You need to start this plant. So they advised them. They said you have to have this, all this. Say this one fell, you're gonna need this equipment. So they, and also how you handle any fire or any catastrophe. So they suggested, they give all these things to to Atomic Energy Commission of Bangladesh. So Bangladesh Atomic Energy Commission decided to buy all this equipment to start Rupur. So they bought all the stuff from Russia. It came by air. It was sitting in the airport. And then you remember, as I mentioned, that there was a fire. And there was a firefighter's office next to the airport. Think about that. If you have a fire in the plane, what they would do?
Yeah, immediately, those
It's
fire trucks would
over
go.
billion. It's
Yeah.
over $1 billion equipment was burned down, and government Inus and his gang did nothing.
Now, aftermath.
So now they cannot start Rupur until they buy those stuff back again and fix their problem. What was the recommendation from AIA, International
So it
Atomic
is
Energy?
now, at the moment, is paused.
It's a hold. They cannot start without what the AIA do. They come, visit, they do their investigation, they give a report, and after you finish, then you call AIA, then they come, look at it, make sure there is no safety concern. As we discussed before, that anything happen in a reactor, something, then you have to move people surrounding 300-mile radius.
Mr. Karim, we like to be always optimistic, about future of our motherland, Bangladesh. So can you say anything positive during the current interim government in regard to power generation in Bangladesh? Any steps they have taken, interim government under Yunus?
That the Inus as a gang has not done anything that impressed me. And you know that I'm a big supporter of Trump. A lot of people say, oh, you're pro-Trump. Yes, I am pro-Trump. But, you have natural resources. Think about that previous 15 or 16 years, Bangabandhu's daughter, Sheikh Hasina, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, has done a lot of things where, industrialized Bangladesh, massive power sector improvement, women's empowerment. But this government last 18 months has not done anything that say, okay, they had initiated a project that's going to improve people's life, not nor they have taken any initiative that will create a job. On the other hand, there is a lot of government's industry or shut down. So who lost the job? The women. So how can I be hopeful? I've always supported a political government. It doesn't matter whoever it is, either Awami League or BNP. They're the two biggest party in Bangladesh. Now the election happened. BNP is coming in power. Let's see how they run it. But again, I'm going to go back to what New York Times said. The Khamba Tariq. Unless, if you look at it, what he said last, he gave us 5 of his plan, and none of them makes sense to me. He went to Kumilla EPZ. Kumilla, he said, I'm going to build an EPZ. He didn't know that there is an EPZ already. There are 20,000 people work there. He mentioned that I'm going to take the metro. Why? Metro is a successful project. You want to add, he could have said different way, said, okay, I will keep the metro rail, I will add monorail where metro rail cannot go. Then that will be success. But he, instead of saying that, he said, the traffic will be more if you take the metro rail. That's the second one. Third one, he said, I will have 50 lakh of family card, whereas Bangabandhu's daughter, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, has given 1 crore of family card for the people that needs. Right?
Is it like a ration card of yesteryear?
And like, yeah, it's a low income family get those cards so they can buy their food.
Yeah, something like ration cards.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Then he said, I'm gonna have 50 koti tree. If you do the math, each day you have to plant 273,000 tree. That means 2,73,000 gach tree every day, 24 hours. That means without any break. Is this possible? And Bangladesh, where are they going to do that? Because then you lose the land. Our country is mostly agricultural land, right? You're going to lose the agricultural land. And also, the Khal Khanon, that's none of his make any sense that whatsoever that what he comes up with. Let's see. But there are a lot of leaders. They are and good leaders in BNP. I'm hopeful they will bring everybody together, inclusiveness. If they cannot build inclusiveness, then we're going to have an issue.
Mr. Karim, the bottom line is in the power generation to make a country, in a development path, definitely you need more and more power.
That is true.
So that's our final thought.
That's the bottom line of it. And what Sheikh Hasina has done is to do that from 15 years. That's a huge achievement. We could not have metro rail without power. Think about that. In Dhaka city, people are enjoying metro rail, but behind that is a power.
Thank you very much.
All this EPZ she built, right? All this EPZ. How they could build the EPZ if you don't have any power?
That was great. It was a great discussion, Mr. Zia Karim. Nice talking to you. And
it's my pleasure.
We'll meet again, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.